Welcome back to Squawk Box. Foxconn is investing $10 billion in Wisconsin, a deal that will bring thousands of jobs to the state. Joining us now from Madison, Wisconsin, Governor Scott Walker. I mean, you had the U.S. Open finally, Scott. I mean, what about Wisconsin? Did you do this, or is just Wisconsin's just a happening place right now?
Well, we're a happening place. We're ready. There's no doubt about it. We went, back in 2010. Wisconsin ranked in the bottom 10, according to Chief Executive Magazine, for places to do business. This year, we're up to the top 10, the first time we've ever been on that list. And so it's years of building us up, lower taxes, fewer regulations, building a better workforce, getting rid of frivolous lawsuits, all those things combined, and just being in the right time in the right place. We're excited. This is going to be, for us, it's going to be up to 13,000 new jobs.
Awesome.
And a $10 billion investment.
Jobs.
Pretty exciting.
Yeah, good jobs.
Yeah, they are. These are over $53,000 per year jobs, plus benefits. On top of that, to build this, I mean, this is not just a plant or a factory. This is a whole ecosystem. This is a campus-wide. We call it Wisconsin Valley because of all the high-tech manufacturing innovation that's going to happen. This is going to be transformational for us. 10,000 construction jobs alone. And in addition to the 13,000 jobs directly created by Foxconn's investment, on top of that, we're looking at 22,000 indirect and induced jobs. It's a pretty big deal for any state, particularly for Wisconsin.
It always helps when a state does a little experiment with either taxes or deregulation, because then you can extrapolate that to the entire country, I think, in tax reform. But sometimes the results aren't as clear-cut. I guess, people always point to Kansas on the left, that Kansas tried to cut taxes and it didn't work out right. People would also say, Governor, before this deal, some of your efforts in Wisconsin were falling short from your goal of, what was it, 250,000 jobs, whatever. That didn't happen yet, did it? And they say this goes a long way towards closing the gap for what you promised to what was delivered. But what did you do, and why did it fall short, according to some people?
Well, the bottom line for us is we have more people employed this year in our state than we've ever had before. In most of our counties across the state, we have the lowest unemployment rate. And a statistic you all can appreciate as well as your audience, we not only have low unemployment, the lowest statewide since 1999 in more than half the counties in the state, the lowest ever, is the labor force participation rate. We're up to just shy of 69%, 68.9%. We're one of the top 10 states in the nation in terms of people in the workforce. And so for us, we need to draw more people in. And ironically, something that's going to require more workers will actually help our other employers when it comes to workforce, because we think this will be a magnet by which we'll attract talent from across the country and around the world. We think it will be one more step, one more tool in helping us keep our top graduates here in the state, which will be good not only for Foxconn and the 150-some suppliers across the state that will be a part of fueling this economic engine. We believe it will help other employers as we become an international focal point when it comes to high-tech innovation and manufacturing.
Governor, how much did you have to offer in terms of incentives? You were definitely competing with other states.
Yeah, this is $3 billion. It's a combination. Half of it goes for jobs. So as we've done before with other great employers, it's all tied to performance. So they will start at 3,000, but eventually as this gets operational, be up to 13,000 jobs. That $1.5 billion that goes to job creation has to be earned. So if they fall short of that, the state's commitment is less. But we are confident, as is Foxconn, that they're going to probably not only meet but exceed that jobs number. And then the other part is capital. You're talking about 20 million square feet. Well, I was in Washington, obviously, with the President and the Vice President and Speaker Ryan yesterday announcing this, along with Foxconn's Chairman Terry Goh. That's about 3 times the size of the Pentagon, or for those of us who are Packer fans, more appropriately, that's big enough to fit 11 Lambeau Fields inside of that operational space and that new ecosystem. We just think it's dynamic, and we love the fact that these LCD displays, which are not made anywhere in the world outside of Asia, now will be made in America proudly in the great state of Wisconsin.
Governor, I hope this happens, and I hope it works the way it's been described. A couple of investors have sent us notes this morning who've taken a look at Foxconn's numbers and have wondered, perhaps cynically, whether this $10 billion headline number that we keep talking about is real or represents something else beyond just this factory, given that their entire footprint, apparently, globally, in terms of plant and equipment is about $10 billion, and they spend about $1.7 billion on CapEx annually. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, well, again, for us, it's all tied to performance. We have a capital investment threshold. We have a job threshold. Again, if it falls less, our commitment prorates accordingly to that. But for us, if they're more efficient in how they do that, we not only put up incentives in terms of the construction, a part of our deal, about $1.35 billion is in the capital investment. The remaining portion of that $1.5 billion tied into capital is giving them, for example, a sales tax exemption, just like we did on the new Bucks Arena. But they're looking at building one of the biggest campuses in the world.
But you have no doubts about the $10 billion number. You have no doubts about that actual $10 billion.
No, I think that's solid on their part. And again, I heard a little bit of Reed Cordish talk before at the White House. He was a great partner. Reince Priebus, our fellow cheesehead, brought us in the day after Terry and the president met. And we've been working with them and Jared and the rest of the team to make this connection. And I think, Reed touched on this a little bit. Foxconn is looking ahead and realizing with this president, with his trade policies, with his tax policies, with his infrastructure policies, they want to be invested in the United States, not just in terms of locations, but in terms of this type of manufacturing.
Racine or
Depending on what
Kenosha?
the president's trade policies are, they're hedging their bets to make sure they're making it in America.
Racine or Kenosha? Your people are dying to know.
The bottom line is both those sites are great. When Terry was in, his team has been in for months looking at this. They're looking at what the best deal is. What I love is they're just committed to Wisconsin. We had multiple sites from Janesville, Beloit, Racine, Kenosha. All those are excellent sites.
Did
and
they
if they or
talk to
others
you at
want to
all?
bring even more jobs.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but the Chinese manufacturing grew for a reason, right? It was much cheaper. Did you have any conversations with them about why it is that now is a good time to invest in the United States when the salary is at $53,000 more plus benefits is, I am sure, quite high relative to what they would have to pay people in Asia? What are the economics of the United States that brought them here now finally to manufacture in the U.S.? Did they talk about that at all with you?
Yeah, absolutely. From day one, from the day I met Terry and his team in Reince Priebus, the chief of staff to the president's office in the White House, they talked about time, talent, and cost. We knew all the way through this process that we had to be good partners in each of those areas. We drove down costs, being close to the Chicago market, but yet in the lower cost real estate markets that we see in Wisconsin was a big benefit. Having a right-to-work state was a benefit. Having all but eliminated tax on manufacturing was a benefit. But part of it is just not only in Wisconsin, but in America, they're hedging their bets. They want to make sure that their largest market for their products is protected if the president goes forward aggressive trade policy to try and level the playing field so that it's fair and free trade. They want to make sure they've got a foot in the American market, and the best place for them to do it was right here in the state of Wisconsin.
Governor, I think it's great for the state. I think it's great for the country. I hope it works. My question is, now that you have this in the books, what do you do as governor to go out and try to bring more people and more other companies, rather, to sort of create a larger ecosystem, given that that's what's made the Chinese ecosystem work so well, because they've been able to create the entire supply chain?
Well, we really, I mean, literally, Terry and I joked about this a while back, but we're now labeling this Wisconn, like Wisconsin, but Wisconn, W-I-S-C-O-N-N, Wisconn Valley, because it's not just about securing this one location or even this one ecosystem. It's about building a larger one. And so we think this will help us build a larger global focal points, a magnet to bring people into this region. We think it can do for Wisconsin what Silicon Valley has done for California, what the Research Triangle has done for the Carolinas. We think we can really key off of that. And in fact, we become Silicon Valley's high-tech manufacturing and innovation site to fulfill the products that they dream of in places like that and others around the world. This obviously is a huge anchor for us, but we want to keep building off of this. And we think, you know, even with our discussions with Foxconn, they want to continue to build, as you know, for them to be successful. They don't just make a deal and then put it in place. They keep looking forward as to what's the next great innovation. For them, it's not just entertainment, it's healthcare, it's automotive, it's aviation. There's so many different ways they can key in, particularly in this growing American market. We want to be a key part of it.
Governor Walker, thanks for coming on, and that's great news for the Wisconsin workers. I appreciate it. Thanks.
And I love the On Wisconsin music on there because we're ready to go. We're ready for this now more than ever, and we're ready to add even more jobs. So bring your business to Wisconsin.
Excellent.